Hello.
We're just waiting, huh, for Indira?
And Jeff.
Oh, I thought he was just there.
And Indira.
Where's Indira?
Here comes Jeff.
Okay, we're all on.
You're all present.
Okay, so everybody has to forgive me. I'm on 2 devices trying to keep up with the agenda. So if I'm a little halting, that's why. So can we go ahead and go, Erin? Yeah?
We can, thank you.
Okay, so we are going to reconvene to open session at 6:01 p.m. I want to advise everybody that there's a recording being made at the direction of the board and that the recording may capture images and sounds of those attending this meeting tonight. 4.2 report of action taken in closed session. There was no action taken in closed session. And then attendance roll call. President Elkishan here. Clerk Lopez Jones.
Here.
Trustee Maxfield.
Here.
Trustee Gonzalez.
Here.
And Trustee Rothberg Allen is absent tonight. So if Paula wants to share her screen and everybody wants to unmute themselves. I feel like the kindergarten teacher when I'm the only one talking. Okay, ready, begin. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the
United States of America.
and to the
To the
republic
republic
for which it
which
stands,
stands
one nation, under God,
God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
justice for all.
for all.
And then that brings us to our district mission statement. We are a collaborative, culturally rich educational community where a rigorous and innovative curriculum prepares our students to be successful contributors to our global society. And then 5.1 is public business from the floor on non-agenda items. So this portion of the agenda allows an individual the opportunity to address the board on any item regarding board business that is not on the agenda. Without taking action or entering into a dialogue with the public, board members may briefly respond to statements made or ask clarifying questions about topics posed by the public. Your matter may be referred to administration and individual speakers are limited to 3 minutes each. Paula, did we have anybody who wanted to speak tonight?
I do not.
No. Okay. So there you go. That moves us to 6.1, Wildcat Mentor Program. Erin and Wendy.
It's my pleasure to introduce Wendy Garcia, who is a former Calistoga High School grad, and she's now serving as our new Wildcat Mentor Coordinator. So Wendy, welcome. I appreciate your being here.
Thank you for having me.
And Wendy, I'll go ahead and share the screen and then you can just kind of guide me. where to
Perfect.
connect.
Sounds good. Okay, awesome. Well, thank you, Erin, for the introduction. As she mentioned, I am the mentor coordinator for this Calistoga Wildcat Mentor program that we just started up this year. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about the program, kind of what we have accomplished and where it's headed. So yeah, you can continue on to the next slide. So our mission is, the mission of the Calistoga Wildcat program is to ensure that students have the expectations, resources, and support that they need in order to have a successful transition into post-secondary educational and career opportunities. So as many of you know, this aligns with the Calistoga Junior Senior High School mission, which is to close the achievement gap by preparing all students for college readiness and success in a global society. So we purposely aligned our two missions because we want to make sure that all of our students have everything that they need in order to be successful in their educational or career opportunities, whatever they decide to pursue after graduation. So a little bit about why the program came about. So up to 40% of students that have been accepted and intend to enroll in college as of high school graduation don't actually complete the enrollment process and begin college. So when I first saw this, I was very, very alarmed because it's a very high number. So the goal of the program is to ensure that these students do make it to college and make sure that they have the support that they need so that they don't end up falling through the cracks. So this is particularly true for students that are first generation and who over the summer might miss critical deadlines or they need additional information to enroll successfully that may not make any sense to them. So that's one of the things that the mentor is going to be there for, to help them answer those questions. And even if they don't know the answer to the question right away, help them find the answer help them find where they can find the answer. So studies have shown that when all this additional support is provided, students are much more likely to actually make it to classes and actually begin classes. So that's our goal. So we want our students to have that peer mentor, and then hopefully there will be none that are going to be falling through the cracks over this summer. So a little bit about the mentor's role. So the role will be primarily to help provide students with support, and that can look a lot of different ways, such as sending encouraging messages. I know graduation just happened for this past group of seniors, so saying happy graduation or good luck with finals, did different things like that. And then also sending important reminders for important deadlines such as FAFSA or California Dream Act, different scholarships, or even choosing a college, because a lot of our seniors had to do that this year. And it can also be reviewing an essay, resume, cover letter, or even help with choosing their housing for their freshman year or signing up for orientation. And then once they are in college, because the mentors will be with our students, not only their senior year, but also their first year of postgraduate or post-secondary, excuse me. So they will be together for 2 years so that they will not only have that support when they're seniors, but they will also have somebody through that first year of post-secondary. So that can mean, like, for example, if they are going to college, maybe accessing different tutoring services that they have available on campus, or attending college office hours to make sure that they start establishing those important relationships with the professors, because we know along the way that those can be extremely useful and beneficial if they decide they want to do grad school or master's program, whatever it is that they want to do. And then my personal favorite one is they're going to be their mentee's #1 cheerleader. It's always nice to know that somebody other than your family is rooting for you. And that's what we want these students to have. So they're a friend, but they're also they're rooting for them, and they're not going to let them fall through the cracks. So we are going to want them to be checking in frequently, and then just be responsive to their questions. So here's some pictures of some of our mentors. One common theme that you'll find with these is that all of these people, or these members from our community, have volunteered their time because they see how important it is to have somebody, and they had somebody to help guide them when they were in school. And these are all Calistoga High School graduates. So they have gone just through the same path that our students are now. So it's nice to be able to connect in that way. But also they're very, they believe in paying it forward, and they believe in giving back to the community. So that's really great to see. And it's wonderful to see so many of our mentors be from Calistoga. And then here are some of our mentees. from this past school year. And as you can see, these are all students who many of them are first generation, so they don't have anybody in their family who has gone to college. So they are looking up to our mentors who have been there and have gone through that whole process and can help them answer any of those questions, or also, kind of learn with them along the way, since things have changed from when we were in school. So that's kind of what we want them to establish, this close relationship, and then be able to reach out to them if they ever were to need anything along the way. So our progress. So for the 2021 school year, we had about 31 mentees. And then currently for this upcoming school year, so the incoming seniors, we have 15 mentees that we've recruited from the junior parent night, I believe it was. So that's just from that event, but we also plan to connect with different teachers and the AVID teachers, so that we are hopefully able to get all of our seniors. That would be ideal for everybody to go through the program. And then currently we have about 20 mentors from the community. These are just the ones that have gone through the full vetting process, because some of them still have not completed all the necessary paperwork to be cleared to volunteer. So we do have a lot more mentors, and some have decided to wait till this next cohort. So we'll get some more, and that's going to be part of what I'm going to be doing over the summer, is recruiting some more mentors so that we have enough for the incoming seniors. And then some of the other things that we have done is create a mentor handbook that include different activities for our students to help with time management and goal setting activities. That includes short-term goals and long-term goals, and different ways that they and plan out how they can achieve those goals. And then also some more fun things like scavenger hunts, so they can go around their campuses and make sure that they get to know it, and not just stick in one place, know where the library is, where the gym is, different things like that. And then also for the mentors, we have suggested communication. So we have a list of important deadlines that we want them to know about, so that they are communicating with their mentees. But then also, of course, they're going to be getting reminders from Carla and myself. But that's just all part of our mentor handbook. And so our goals, so we want to make sure that all of our mentees feel supported and prepared. We want them to make sure that they learn the importance of networking, and how, having those important connections and building those relationships can really help in the long run. And then we want them to connect with their mentors so that they can share experiences and learn from the others' mistakes. And then at the end of the day, we also want them to become independent. So once they don't have a mentor anymore, we want them to be able to problem solve and advocate for themselves, especially after that first year when they don't have a mentor anymore officially assigned to them. Of course, they can still connect with them, but we want them to be able to be independent and do everything that the mentor has been doing, but be able to do it for themselves. And then my last goal, and that would be my favorite thing, is for one day our mentees to actually return and become mentors to our future generations. And I think it'd be really great to see and hear about their experiences. And yeah, so share their experiences. So this is our mentor program as of now. I'm really, really excited to be able to continue this for this next year. So yeah, that brings me to the end here. If anybody has any questions or might be interested in becoming a mentor, here's my contact information. You can shoot me an email, and then I can send you everything that you need to be officially or officially approved to be a mentor.
Great. Thank you, Wendy. I have my paperwork. I promised to bring it in.
Yes, you can drop it by at the district office with Melinda.
Okay. Did anybody else have any questions?
Well, nicely done, Wendy. I haven't seen you in a while, and it seems like you've all grown up.
Yes, nice to see you too, Jeff.
Good to see you. So, question for you. How do you think this would have aided you when you were going through Santa Barbara?
Well, that is it would have helped me in a lot of different ways. I know I wasn't as close to my brother at the time, so he wasn't as much help, and my parents did not go to college either, so I was also first generation. So I think it would have been really helpful to have somebody like, I didn't know that I had access to like free printing on campus, for example. There was different clubs and stuff that I had no idea about, and it just expanding my knowledge and getting me out of my bubble, because growing up in Calistoga, I felt like I was very sheltered. And I think it's important for some of these students to start branching out, and I think it'll be a really good experience.
Great. Well,
Julie,
good
I
job.
want to say that I think Wendy's done a fabulous job in this first year of the program, and I really appreciate that she has collaborated with Carla in Carla's role as, the College and Career Center coordinator. I think that's been very beneficial to the program. I'm also excited about her partnering next year with the new family and community liaison, so they can help her as far as reaching out to the community. So
Good.
yeah, I think it's just going to get stronger and stronger. So thank you, Wendy.
Yes, thank you all for having me.
Great. Thank you, Wendy. You can drop off. Nobody will be offended.
Okay.
Or you can stay for the rest of the meeting.
Thanks. Okay.
Thank you.
Have a good night, everyone. Thank you.
Bye. Okay,
Bye.
so then that brings us to 7.1, which Aaron will present to us a little update on the California School Dashboard Local Indicators Report.
Yes, thank you, Julie. So this is not the first time that you've seen the California School Dashboard Indicators, but as a reminder, LCFF statute requires that the California Accountability System includes standards for all of the LCFF priorities, but the state doesn't collect all of the data, so they then leave it up to the local education agencies to collect some of that data. So the local indicators include priority 1, priority 2, priority 3, 6, and 7. So our district has chosen to use the rubrics that the state makes available to us. You can select 2 choices as a district. You can choose to do a narrative, or you can use the rubric. So the administrative team and I collaborated on completing the local indicator rubrics. And we have to ensure that we're measuring our progress using local available information. We have to make sure that we report the results to the governing board, which we're doing tonight, so that the public can also make comment. And then after we've done that, we have to upload our indicators into the dashboard. If we do all 3 of those things, then we are considered to have met the local indicators. So like I said, I've got everything in the packet for you. I want to know if you had any questions regarding the criteria or our ratings.
Nobody, everybody understands. Pretty straightforward.
It's pretty straightforward. And like I said, it's not the first time you've seen it.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Then if nobody has questions, we'll move on to 7.2. Board policies and administrative regulations, first reading. So tonight we're looking at 5 new board policies and regulations. And I think none of them have anything that's not according to the CSBA guidelines, correct?
That's true. It's all recommended changes, Julie.
Perfect. So did anybody have any questions on any of those while we have the discussion open? No? Okay, perfect. So then we are going to move on to the report section. So we'll start off with Michael, Director of Educational Services and HR.
All right, good evening. I hope this is our last virtual board meeting, and we can all join together in person next year. So that's the hope, right? I can share some information about summer. It's gonna be a busy summer, I think, for us, and productive. Beyond the expanded summer program, there's gonna be a lot of adult learning and planning happening. We're forming a math innovation team, which will begin to meet this summer. We recently had a program review published for us by West Ed for our secondary math program. And I think it's given us some good direction, some good work ahead of us. And I think it's given us a boost of energy. And so this summer we'll begin to work on really solidifying our vision for what math instruction for kids and for adults looks like. And that vision will really become the foundation for the future work around instructional techniques, professional development, curriculum, and so on. So we're going to meet for 3 days as a group this summer. And then I anticipate we'll continue to work throughout at least next year, and potentially, hopefully, expand it to include elementary staff as well next year. We'll also be working with our social emotional learning planning group this summer. This is a group of staff that started to meet this year as part of the Napa County Office of Education's SEL Community of Practice. So our team will meet together, just the Calistoga team, to talk about social emotional learning and what this is going to look like for our students and our staff next year. And I think everyone's been through a lot. It's been a tough 2 years, 3 years. And I think that we could all agree that the well-being of our students and staff is more important than it's ever been. And so to have staff input and kind of start to drive where we're going to go with how we support student and staff needs is very important. So I'm very thankful that we have a large number of staff that are willing to contribute their time this summer to the planning. I'm also meeting with Raul Monica and Michelle Craig Morales this summer to talk about graduation requirements. As you know, we recently increased our graduation requirements. And while most students have been able to maintain their grades and credits over the last year, we have started to see a significant number of students start to fall behind. And I don't think we're alone in that, but we need to, as a team, discuss what that means for us and the implications and how we continue to support our students, meet our high expectations. So we are having an ongoing conversation around our students' progress towards our new graduation standards. And I anticipate I'll come back and inform the board about how those discussions are going as we move into next year. And then lastly, and this is, I think, some of the fun work, at least for me, is planning out the 2021-22 professional development plan. And this is, it's always great to kind of dig in and figure out how we're going to support staff learning. It's starting in August, but then throughout the year. And I think so far I can share that social emotional learning will be prioritized. I think that's going to be a central focus, starting with culturally relevant instruction, as well as social emotional learning assessment and curriculum. I think those are going to be central to our professional development. And then also a focus on instructional strategies, practices, standards as it relates to student achievement. But again, that's the fun work of finding out, how we're going to support our staff with PD. Hopefully it's exciting. Hopefully it's fun and engaging as we start to look out towards August. I always think that summer is long, but then it goes real fast. So we'll work as hard as we can and be productive, and then look forward to seeing everybody back in August. So that's my report for tonight.
Sorry, my space button wasn't working. Thank you, Michael. And then that brings us to Maureen and her business services report.
I don't really have a whole lot to report since we just met last week, but I will tell you that the legislature did put a budget forth to the governor this afternoon. So I just had word through school services. They did this because, of course, we talked about this last week. They won't get paid unless they submit a budget by the 15th. There is lots of conflicting information in the budget as far as what they want versus what the governor wants. So the next couple of weeks, they'll work all that out. And then hopefully by June 30th, we will have a budget with the bills necessary for us to conduct business in school districts. So here's hoping. That's about all I have for tonight, unless anybody has any questions or comments.
Okay, thanks, Maureen. And then that brings us to Erin's report.
Thank you, Julie. Under LCAP goal number 1, I wanted the board to know that I submitted a renewal request to the S.H. Cowell Foundation for a 2-year grant and received the great news last Friday that the Cowell board approved a $170,000 award. So the grant goals are to 1, improve conditions of learning, and 2, improve instructional practices through 4 things. 1, refining our use of restorative practices at each of the schools. 2, increasing tolerance and student engagement through culturally responsive instruction, which Michael just mentioned. 3rd, expanding data literacy by engaging students and families in MAP. And then 4, strengthening parent leadership at both the school and the district level. So this is just a continuance of the work that we've been doing the past 3 years, and I am very grateful for the continued support of the Cowell Foundation. Their new board members have asked to visit Calistoga. I think they're going to come in the fall. They'd like to become more familiar with our district since some of them are new to the board, and also the greater community, because they also provide a great deal of support to the Up Valley Family Center programs. So I look forward to that. Then under goal number 2, I've been attending promotions and graduations for over 30 years now, and I thought that this year's ceremonies were by far the best that I have ever experienced. And I had many staff and family members comment on how much they enjoyed the new location for both the 6th and high school graduation. Everyone expressed gratitude for first being in person and having a chance to celebrate our students' accomplishments together. So I appreciate all the time that the principals, the secretaries, and our facilities staff dedicated to preparing for the ceremonies. It's a lot of work, and I think they did a great job in making them very memorable. Also, thank you to our trustees for being a part of the celebrations as well. Then under LCAP goal number 3, we're going to be doing a soft launch of the Parent Square communication system during our upcoming summer program. So getting some feedback from staff and families after this summer will certainly help us prepare for the full transition to Parent Square, which will begin at the next school year. So now that the 2020-21 school year has ended, as Michael mentioned, we are quickly gearing up for a refreshed and expanded summer program, and I'm very excited about that as well. So thank you.
No rest for the wicked, huh? We're just
All
gonna
good.
launch.
We're very excited about it.
Okay, thank you, Erin. So then that brings us to the consent agenda. And just a reminder to everybody that actions proposed for the consent agenda are deemed routine in nature and will be enacted in one motion. There'll be no separate discussion of these items unless any member of the board, audience, or staff requests specific items be removed from the consent agenda for separate action. So unless anybody sees anything that they want to discuss further, I'm looking for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So
As-
moved.
Thanks, Jeff.
Second.
Thank you, Rudy. All in favor? Aye. Don't forget to unmute.
Yes, Julie, I'm abstaining from voting because my employer is mentioned on the routine contract.
Okay. Perfect. So that's noted. And so then roll call vote. President Elkishan, aye. Clerk Lopez Jones,
Abstain.
same. Trustee Maxfield,
Aye.
Trustee Gonzalez,
Aye.
and Trustee Rothberg Allen is absent. So that brings us down to 10.1. Action items. So protocol for action items includes staff presentation, questions from the board, public input, deliberation by the board, and voting by the board. During public input, there will be a 3-minute time period limit per person. So 10.2, Maureen, we're talking about the adoption of the 21-22 budget.
Yes, thank you, Julie. Last week, I presented the 21-22 preliminary budget, and no changes have been made since that presentation was made last week. So I am recommending to the board that we adopt the 21-22 budget for Calistoga School District, and we can meet all of our financial obligations this year and the outgoing next 2 years, which is what we have to do when we say we can adopt our budgets.
Great. So if nobody has any questions, I am looking for a motion to go ahead and adopt the 2021 budget.
So move.
Second.
Great. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And this is roll call vote as well. So President Elkishan, aye. Clerk Lopez Jones,
Aye.
Trustee Maxfield,
Aye.
Trustee Gonzalez,
Aye.
and Trustee Rothberg Allen is absent. And then that brings us to 10.3, adoption of the 21-24 Local Control Accountability Plan and LCP Annual Update. Do you want to say anything about that, Erin, or is that pretty cut and dry? Or just,
Well, I did want the board to know that after our public hearing last night, I did make some minor revisions to the draft LCP document or LCAP document. In particular, I modified the identified needs section that's on page 4. I did that to try to make the California dashboard information a little bit clearer for our stakeholders. So that page was modified. I also cleaned up a few grammatical errors throughout the document. Otherwise, it was as it was presented at our last meeting for public hearing.
great. So if nobody has any questions, I am looking for a motion to adopt the 21-24 local control accountability plan.
So moved.
Second,
Thanks, Jeff. All in favor?
Aye.
aye.
Aye. This is also a roll call vote. President Elkishan, aye. Clerk Lopez Jones.
Aye.
Trustee Martindale,
Aye.
Trustee Gonzalez,
Aye.
and Trustee Rothberg Allen is absent. So 10.4 LCFF budget overview for parents. Maureen.
This is something that is required for the school district to do when we adopt our budget and we adopt our LCAP. We need to give a summarization for parents. So if they want to just look very quickly and look at the overall numbers of everything, they have it kind of at their fingertips. I just wanted to go into this a little bit tonight just because this LCAP that we are adopting tonight is very different than the previous LCAP. We have gotten to a point in all of our LCAP actions throughout our goals of our LCAP where we are including almost everything within our general fund budget, which is fantastic. That's kind of how it should be. You know, the LCAP plan is kind of what drives the budget. So we want to make sure that we're including as much as we can to make sure that as we're creating that budget, we're you know, getting all those actions from the LCAP in the budget. So normally you would see something around, you know, 14 or 15 million. We're up to almost 18.9 in income for our LCFF or LCAP. And then we're over 19 million in expenditures. We did leave out about $711,000 of expenditures, and that's just because it's like retiree benefits and it's the STRS, oh my gosh, obligations that we have to make and that we have to show in our budget. And so really that's all that's missing. Everything else that we have in our budget is in some action in our LCAP, which I think is phenomenal as far as, you know, Aaron talking to stakeholders and being able to really make all of this work. It doesn't happen on a lot of districts, so this is really cool. And then the only other thing that's in this particular budget overview this year is the LCP expenditures. So remember back at the beginning of the year, we received some money from the feds and the state to deal with the pandemic and COVID, and we had to adopt an LCP plan. We did that, and it just shows that we received, we budgeted 2.1 million, and we actually spent more than that because we did. So that's the other thing that's also mentioned in this overview. And that's about all I have. If you have any questions or comments.
Great, thank you. Questions from anybody? No? Okay. Then I am looking for a motion to approve the LCFF budget overview as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And Paula, that's not a roll call, huh? No?
Correct. It's just a budget knock-up anyway.
Perfect. Okay, and that brings us to 10.5, the tentative agreement between Calistoga Joint Unified School District and CAT.
I can speak to that. So we have agreed with CAT to increase our hourly and summer school teacher wage. And this is part of this was during our discussions around the summer program. We did a regional and really a statewide analysis of our hourly and summer pay, and we realized that we were out of step and it needed to be increased. And so this is the new hourly and summer wage.
Great, thank you, Michael. Anybody have any questions? That's obviously good. Okay, so I am looking for a motion to approve the tentative agreement with CAT as presented.
So move.
Second,
Thanks, Indira. Thanks, Jeff. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great. So that brings us to 10.6, revise MOU with Calistoga Associated Teachers regarding COVID-19 pandemic and school opening during 2021. I think Michael's going to tell us a little bit about.
Yeah, this is, a long and ongoing, document and conversation that we've been having for, probably a year now, right? And so we've been taking
Michael, is
this
that
down.
you?
Yeah, can you still hear me? Yeah. So we've continued to update this document as things have changed. The major changes in this one are the state's changed to 3-foot distancing between students, which is part of this agreement. That impacted the expanded reopening of the elementary school, and there's some language around that schedule. And there's also separately, there were some changes to COVID leave, a new set of COVID leave provided by the state. So those are some of the new pieces to this ongoing reopening document that we're bringing back for approval.
Okay, sorry, you guys, my connection's bad. Are we ready on that one? No questions? Okay, perfect. So we are looking for a motion to approve the MOU with CAT as presented, sorry.
So moved.
I can second.
Thanks, Jeff. Thanks, Indira. All in favor?
Aye.
Perfect. And then that is bringing us to 10.8, right? I didn't miss one, did I, you
10.7.
guys? Oh no, summer program, sorry, 10.7, right?
Correct.
Yeah, 10.7, sorry. So Michael, did you want to speak to that at all regarding the Calistoga teachers and the 2021 summer program?
Sure. I think like we've said, we wanted to do something different with the summer program, something expanded, and we have some short-term dollars to address learning recovery that we've been able to leverage. And so we have really a 2-year agreement to update kind of working conditions related to summer program. So we're very excited about that. We also recognize, and to be transparent, that this is a 2-year agreement. And that we are uncertain how what the funding will be at that point, and so we have a short-term agreement around summer program in 2021 and 2022.
Great, thank you, Michael. Sorry if my connection's bad. So we are looking for a motion to approve the MOU with CAT regarding the 2021-22 summer programs as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Oh, thank you, Jeff. Thanks, Rudy. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. So that brings us to 9.8 agreement with AIM High regarding our. Okay. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you fine.
Coming through?
Mm-hmm. You sound fine.
Okay. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
I'm not hearing anybody.
Yeah, we can hear you, but you're just a little delayed.
Okay, perfect. All right. So we're looking at 10.8 agreement with AIM High regarding 21 summer program.
I can speak to that. This is our agreement with AIM High for the summer program, and it's pretty straightforward as it reads. Maybe a little different than our agreement might be in a traditional kind of in-person summer. And so if we bring it back next year, it may look different, but for this year, it has the terms of our agreement for the program, which runs from June 28th to July 30th, serving students in grades 6, 7, 8, and 9.
Right.
Julie, are you back?
Sorry, you guys. Okay, so I'm assuming, yeah, I'm back. Can you see me now? Sorry,
Yeah.
terrible connection. So I think that Michael probably presented while I was off, and we're looking for a motion to approve the agreement with Aim High as presented.
That's correct.
So moved.
Second,
Okay, so looking for a motion. Thank you. Thank you. All in favor? Aye.
aye.
Okay. Hopefully my connection is going to be good on this next one. Thank you. 10.9 Superintendent's Contract 2021 to 24. So I'm going to read this. The board will consider an extension of the superintendent's employment agreement for another 3 years through June 30th, 2024. In extending the contract, the base salary will be $232,000. The district shall continue to provide the superintendent with a housing allowance of up to $20,000 to enable the superintendent to maintain her primary residence within the district's boundaries or at a location mutually agreed upon by the superintendent and board, which is in close proximity to district boundaries. So we have just made a few little revisions, and I'm just going to highlight them to her contract. Item C, automobile allowance. The superintendent shall be eligible for mileage reimbursement at the current IRS rate for work-related travel outside the boundaries of the district. And then item H, professional memberships. The district agrees to pay for membership dues not to exceed $22.50 per year for the Association of California School Administrators or any other organizations of the superintendent's choosing while maintain or improve the superintendent's professional skills or enable the superintendent to be involved in the community. This is an increase of $250 per year over the current agreement. All other terms of the agreement remained unchanged. So if there's no questions, I'm looking for a motion to approve the superintendent's contract renewal as presented.
So moved.
Second,
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
aye.
Aye. Thank you. Okay, that brings us to 10.10, board policies and administrative regulations. So we went over first reading of these last week. So I don't think there's anything to discuss other than just looking for a motion to approve the board policies and regulations as presented.
So moved.
Second,
Thank you. Did I get a second?
second,
Okay, thanks, Jeff. All in favor?
aye.
Aye. Great. So that brings us to 11 closing items. So 11.1 board meeting calendar. So the next meeting, unless we have another special meeting, will be our regularly scheduled meeting Monday, August 9th at 6 p.m. and hopefully in person. 11.2 tentative future agenda items, Williams quarterly report and our Q4 investment report. And there is no need to reconvene to closed session. So I am looking for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Thank you, Rudy.
Second,
Thanks, Jeff. All in favor?
Aye.
aye.
Aye. Great. Thank you, everybody.
Let's meet
Happy
in person.
summer.
We will be in person in August.
Okay.
Perfect. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you all.
Good night.
Have a good night.